The cold rain had already soaked through his thin jacket when Amir heard the faint whimper coming from the alley. Most people would have kept walking. He almost did too. After all, he had his own problems, empty pockets, an empty stomach, and a tiny rented room waiting for him at the end of another exhausting day. But something about that desperate sound stopped him in his tracks. Amir was a poor man in every sense of the word. He worked odd jobs, cleaning shops, carrying heavy loads at the market, fixing whatever needed fixing. Some days he earned enough for a proper meal, other days he went to bed hungry. Life had never been kind to him, yet he carried a quiet gentleness that few people noticed. That evening, as thunder rolled across the darkening sky, he followed the sound into the narrow alley. Behind a pile of broken wooden crates, he found her, a thin brown dog lying on her side, shivering, her leg badly injured. Beside her were 3 tiny puppies, barely a few weeks old, whining and nudging their mother for warmth. Amir knelt beside them. The mother dog lifted her head weakly, her eyes filled with fear and pain. She didn't growl or try to bite. She was too tired, too hurt. Amir could see the wound on her leg, deep and infected. Someone had probably hit her with a car and left her there. "Ya Allah," he whispered. "What happened to you, poor thing?" He looked around the alley. People passed by on the street outside, laughing, talking, living their lives. No one cared about a stray dog and her helpless babies. Amir knew he didn't have money for a doctor or even proper food for himself. But as one of the puppies crawled toward him and licked his hand, his heart made a decision his mind hadn't yet accepted. "I can't leave you here," he said softly. With great care, he took off his jacket and wrapped it around the mother dog. She flinched at first, then relaxed, as if she understood he meant no harm. Amir gathered the puppies into a cardboard box he found nearby and slowly carried the little family back to his room. His home was nothing more than a small, one-room shelter with a leaky roof and a single light bulb. But that night, it became a place of refuge. Amir used the little money he had to buy milk and some basic medicine from a nearby shop. He cleaned the dog's wound as best he could, speaking to her gently the entire time. He named her Noor, because even in her suffering, she seemed to bring a strange light into his lonely life. The next few days were difficult. Noor was very weak, and Amir had no idea how to properly care for an injured animal. He skipped meals so he could buy food for her and the puppies. He borrowed bandages from a neighbor. At night, he slept on the floor so the dogs could rest more comfortably on his thin mattress. His friends thought he was crazy. "You can barely take care of yourself," one of them said. "Why are you wasting money on street dogs?" Amir just smiled and replied, "They need me more than I need comfort." Word slowly spread around the neighborhood about the poor man who had taken in a wounded stray. Some people laughed at him. Others shook their heads in disbelief. But a few kind souls were touched by his compassion. An old shopkeeper began giving him leftover food for the dogs. A young boy brought a small blanket for the puppies. Despite all the challenges, Noor began to heal. Her legs slowly improved, and strength returned to her tired body. The puppies grew healthier each day, tumbling around Amir's room like little bundles of joy. And something unexpected happened. Amir no longer felt alone. Every time he returned home from work, tired and discouraged, four wagging tails greeted him at the door. Noor would look up at him with grateful eyes, and for the first time in years, Amir felt truly needed. One afternoon, a local animal rescue volunteer heard about Amir and came to visit. She was amazed by what she saw: the clean little room, the well-cared-for dogs, and the obvious love between them. "You did all this by yourself?" she asked in surprise. Amir nodded shyly. "I only did what anyone should do." The volunteer helped take Noor to a proper veterinarian. Her leg required treatment, but thankfully it was not too late. The puppies received vaccinations and good food. Soon, offers came from families wanting to adopt them. The day the first puppy left, Amir cried quietly after the door closed. He knew adoption meant a better life for them, but it still hurt to say goodbye. One by one, the puppies went to loving homes, until only Noor remained. By then, she was fully healed, a beautiful, loyal dog who never left Amir's side. The story of the poor man and the rescued dog reached social media after the volunteers shared it online. People were moved by Amir's kindness. Donations came in to help him with better living conditions. Someone even offered him a stable job at a small company. But Amir remained humble through it all. "I didn't rescue her," he told anyone who asked. "She rescued me." And in many ways, it was true. Before Noor entered his life, Amir had felt invisible and forgotten. Caring for her gave him purpose, confidence, and hope. The bond between them became unbreakable. Months later, as Amir walked through the same streets where he had once wandered lonely and tired, Noor trotted happily beside him. He was still not a rich man, but he was richer in ways money could never measure. Sometimes, when he remembered that rainy night in the alley, he smiled in wonder at how a single act of kindness had changed his entire world. A poor man with almost nothing had chosen to help a helpless creature. And in return, he found love, family, and a new beginning. The lesson was simple but powerful: you don't need wealth to change a life. All you need is a heart willing to care. And that is how an injured mother dog gave a lonely man something priceless: hope.